It's 5 o'clock and 55 seconds. Turn on your headlights. It's time for Night Drive. Good evening and welcome to Night Drive. As always, I'm your host, Horace Wexler. It's late, and I'm feeling great in this tiny little slice of paradise. But our little slice is getting smaller and smaller, thanks to some unruly tourists. Now, I'm not talking about the kind that jaywalk across Main Street in their visors and day-glow neon shorts. No, I am talking about some more aggressive tourists. They're gators, and they are everywhere. Now, this would be an annoyance at most if they weren't so amorous. Everywhere I turn, there seems to be a pair facing off doing an elaborate mating dance before slamming together with a sound like you're clanking a pair of boots filled with orange juice together. That wet slap of leather on leather. A quarter of the time, it's to fight, which is definitely exciting to behold from a safe distance, perhaps behind an old Volvo or a short retaining wall. But that other 75% is, it's pure awkward alligator coitus that frankly I don't want to see or be anywhere near, because it is highly aggressive, and alligators have a permanently erect penis hidden inside their cloaca like the guns from the Robert De Niro movie Taxi Driver. This is not something I made up. This is pure, unwanted scientific knowledge. Have these gators been up in your business? I want to hear about it. Call me up, 305-209-9686. Whew, these gators are everywhere. I've heard people are taking a broom to them to shoo them out of their house, folks being trapped in cars. Even I, a humble radio host, have been harangued and harassed by this gator menace. As I was coming through the alley behind the downstairs, I'll admit I was a little tipsy. I shouldn't have been in the alley to start with, but it turns out alleyway Steve's bite was not the bite I needed to be afraid of this evening. Well, if you've ever come out of the back of the downstairs, you know the door shuts and locks behind you to keep folks from drinking in the alley and sneaking in. So I came out of that door, and lo and behold, there was a 600-pound bull gator back there, making a right mess of some discarded pizza boxes, presumably to restore its sexual stamina. And the gator freezes when it catches me in its eyes, and I'm frozen too. Now, this was the biggest gator, not necessarily in size, as that honor goes to Petunia over at one of Duck's farms, who clocks in at 1,006 pounds. But it had big gator energy, and this energy was just absolutely palpable. Now, the door had locked behind me, and I'm standing in this alley, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. And so me and this large lad lock eyes. We've both been interrupted, and we're trying to decide if the other is going to try to make something of it. I really do wish I had some sort of brave story about how I cobbled together some sort of weapon and fought this gator to salvation, and now its head hangs as a trophy on my wall. But in reality, it was Alleyway Steve, who came not to my defense, but to defend his territory that, he screamed in between obscenities, was clearly marked. I've never seen a grown man throw a haymaker at a gator before, but let me tell you this. It is as awkwardly beautiful as you'd expect. There is a real majesty of spirit in it, regardless of whether it connects with its subject. In this case, an absolutely massive Lake Placid stunt double. Well, about this time, a friendly drunk tried to step out into the alley to piss, and so I barged back inside the downstairs, and we shut that door tight behind us. But as we pulled the door closed, man, I would swear we saw Steve bite that gator, something that gator was clearly not expecting. I have not heard or seen Alleyway Steve since, but I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope he got away, since he seemed to have the upper hand when we got that door closed. But I don't know. You never know. So, Steve, if you're still out there, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's get right over to your calls here. That number again is 305-209-9686. Let's go over here to line 2. Go ahead, line 2.
Hi, Horace. This is Kinsey, Kinsey Birdbagger.
How are you, Kinsey? I understand you had quite the experience recently.
I did, Horace. So I moved here about 4 years ago, so I missed the previous appearance of these gators, and I have been caught totally by surprise. I can't believe that this is a 5-year cycle. Crazy. I am absolutely gobsmacked by how many and how absolutely amorous these alligators are.
Yeah, Kinsey, I was here 5 years ago, and let me tell you, you kind of forget over time just how many gators we are dealing with here.
It's a downright plague.
It is. It is. So my producer here has noted that you had an especially frightening encounter.
Right, I did. So, I was using the phone booth. You know the one over on Macklemore Street at the corner of Crealty?
Right. That's the last phone booth in Fakahatchee. The only phone booth in town.
Yep. It still works. And it's always clean. Who cleans it?
Yeah, I don't know. No one really seems to know.
It's a mystery. Well, I was using it to call my friend, and I see one of these green monsters turn a corner and waddle up to the booth. And I'm thinking, okay, don't panic. It's just a gator. You've seen them in lots of times under your car, at Duck Winters Gatorganza, even a tiny one in the mailbox. But then suddenly, there's two.
Wow.
2 bull gators, and then there's 3. And now I'm not so calm. And then there's a 4th one. And Horace, let me tell you, by the time the police showed up with the crane, there were 12 gators swarming around me, trying to do the hump.
Okay, so let's back up just real quick here. So ultimately, you had 12 gators swarming around you while you were trapped inside this phone booth.
I was like a shark diver in those little jails they go underwater in. At one point, I could barely see daylight because of all those gators were pressing flesh against the glass and trying to get it on. It'll haunt me till the day I die. I was banging on the walls desperate. Thank God I was trapped with a phone. At the first sign of trouble, I picked up the phone and dialed my friend Joyce, who always knows exactly what to do, and Joyce said, "Hang up and call the police, girl." And I always do what Joyce says. 4 hours later, the sheriff had a crane out there and lifted the whole booth into the sky where the gators couldn't get at me.
Wow, that's really something.
I felt like Chris Angel, Horace.
Wow.
Like Chris Angel doing a trick where I disappeared from the gators, and the sheriff brought me in safe and sound.
Do you know what happened to the gators, Kinsey?
They got themselves all tied up in a knot and couldn't get undone, like those rats that get tied together.
A rat king.
Yeah, but like a gator king. It scurried off into the swamp before the deputies could bring out the flamethrower. So, as far as I know, it's still out there. Gives me the willies just thinking about it.
Oof, me too, Kinsey. What a harrowing experience that sounds like. I'm glad to hear that you're okay.
I'm okay. The phone booth is wrecked also, but I'm okay.
Thanks so much for calling.
All right, bye now, Horace.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Night Drive, and we'll be right back with more of your calls right after this.
Have you been wronged? This is Father Jonah Likely reminding you to take some time today to forgive. There's someone in your life that needs your forgiveness, whether it's someone who caused a problem for you or maybe you just need to forgive yourself. Colossians chapter 3, verse 13, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And then once you're forgiven, why not get your tushy down to our big fat mass this Friday? We got 2-for-1 drink specials, half-price lap dances, full-on confessions and forgiveness of sins. Come celebrate the bounties the Lord has given to Sister Charity and Sister Cashmere. They will hold you to their holy bosom as the Lord holds you to his. Also, you'll see exactly why the Lord needed a rest on that 7th day. It's because he spent the 6th chiseling out these abs on our boys. Find all the details and get your daily blessing at Spanktuary.net.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines and go over here to line 3. Let's go to line 3. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Horace, it's Tyler Duncan.
Hey, Tyler. How are these gators affecting you?
I gotta tell you, these horny alligators are ruining my life.
Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus, buddy.
I can't get a lick of sleep. I got so much stress. I swear, I can't go into a room of my house without 2 alligators or more doing it in there. They're everywhere. It's a menace.
A menace is right. It's a real problem. Might be a good time to check into the 2nd floor of a hotel or take to the sea in a boat. But keep your chin up. We are going to get through this.
All right. Bye now, Horace.
All right. Thanks for calling, Tyler. Let's keep the calls rolling and go over here to line 5. Go ahead, line 5.
Hi, Horace. It's Jim Tree here. And,
Hey, Jim. How these alligators got you feeling?
It's affecting me bad, these horny alligators, because, you know what I'm talking. I consider myself a bit of a bear. A little bit grizzly here and there. So I thought horny gators. It was just another one of those slang things, another one of the kids. They had a new term for things, so I went out there thinking, hey, alligators, bears, maybe we mix it up, and...
Oh, no, Jim.
It went wrong, man, and I lost it, and...
It?
You know what I'm talking. They're hoping to reattach it, but
Ah, man, buddy, that's rough stuff.
I need to just kind of read up a little bit more in the future, I think. But thanks, Horace. I'm gonna go.
Thanks, Jim. That's a powerful reminder that you should never, ever try to understand teen slang. Let's go to another call right now.
Well, hello, Horace. How are you, my son?
I'm well. Is this Father Jonah Likely?
This is Father Jonah Likely. Yes.
How are you, Father?
I thought you would recognize my voice.
Well, a lot of people call me
son.
son.
All right. Well, you've got that young son quality to you. If you were here now, I would tussle your hair. That's for sure.
Right. A ton of tussling. How are you handling things over there at the Spanktuary, Father?
We got a pretty bad case of the gators here at the Spanktuary. It has been a challenge. God has put this obstacle in front of us to test our faith, and he's doing a bang up job.
Oh, really?
It's getting to the point. Oh yeah. I mean, we hardly have time to do any sermons or serve any drinks. We just have to catch them in the very brief windows where they're napping. We got to serve around them, incorporate them into the show. A lot of Genesis stuff, a lot of serpent things, just trying to keep it thematic. It's the only way it makes sense.
I imagine if you get a few more pairs of animals, you could do like a light Noah's Ark kind of theme. If that doesn't turn south.
We tried that. Trust me, we tried. We brought in a few different, parrots, mice, things you can get from the local pet store, and they just served as snacks to the gators. If I'm being honest, it was not a pretty sight.
Right. Sort of a mid-coitus kind of snack for those gators. I bet.
Have you seen them together? That they work up an appetite.
A lot of grabbing and pulling.
Sure. Well, I think it makes sense that they were drawn to the Spanktuary because, we're pretty cool about that sort of thing. So
very, very sex positive. How long are you guys going to leave the gators inside? Are you going to try to remove them, or what's the plan?
Well, I prayed on this night after night in front of the congregation, in front of the regulars, in front of the winos. Mm-hmm. I was on my knees until they bled, Horace.
Right.
And finally, God gave me a vision. I saw myself anointed in holy oils, wielding a birch branch. And I stood in front of those gators and I said, "Gators, shoot. Just go on your merry way." I think that's what God wants me to do.
Well, did the gators shoo in this vision, or did anything about their behavior change?
Oh, it was one of those things where just when you're getting to the good part of the dream, you wake up.
You woke up. Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen how that ended. It would have been useful, but I think this is all part of the test of faith.
Right. What are you doing to pull this plan together? It seems like a birch branch would be fairly easy to get.
Yes, the branch I'm actually borrowing from the Snake Church down the road. I don't know if you're familiar with Pastor Prady Donathan. I call him Pastor Prad, and he likes it. He likes it. But I'm borrowing a birch stick that he uses with his congregation, and I'm getting the oils from where's this place? Estee Lauder. Apparently, they have some oils there, and I figure I can just grab a couple of local priests and do some extra blessing on that oil. That should work. I don't think God's that picky.
And then you're gonna wade into these gators, for lack of a better word, and just drive them out. Is that the plan here?
That is the plan.
No backup. All by your lonesome.
I mean, my backup is the big man, Horace.
Right.
He's going to be right there with me. He won't be as oiled up as I will.
Yeah, but I mean,
but he will look better shirtless.
Of course, the book does say God helps those who help themselves. Is there any sort of help that you bring into the party that maybe isn't spiritual support?
I know I'm going to have the power of the Lord with me, and I think that's all any man needs to move mountains. Yeah, of course, the Lord helps those who help themselves. We have regulars that come in on our Thursday night specials, and they help themselves to the crab cakes.
Yeah.
But someone's got to make those crab cakes for us, and that's me. I'm going to wait on those gators and make some metaphorical crab cakes, if you will.
I just think, Father, that you walking into the middle of these gators with a stick, and granted, my faith isn't what it used to be, it just feels a little short-sighted. I saw Alleyway Steve. I think I was the last one to see him. He's obviously disappeared now. I don't really know what happened to him, but I'd hate to see something bad happen to you.
See, now here's the difference between me and that fella. My heart bleeds for that man. But I do not think that violence is going to solve this. The birch stick, I think, is mainly used for balance. I won't be hitting any reptiles. I will kindly ask them to take their orgy elsewhere.
Okay. This gator conversation is you and you alone and the gators.
Yes. I mean, of course, I'll have some scripture with me that I think will help and maybe be convincing.
Is the oil like a repellent to the gators in some way, or
that would make sense? I didn't really question the oils. I mean, someone tells me to oil up, and I oil up and down.
Is it just to make you too slippery for the gators to get purchase on you, or?
Yeah, I suppose that would be a useful defense mechanism. I'd be like a greased up pig that they wouldn't be able to hold on to for sure. I think they're going to see the light of the Lord before they can even get that far, if I'm being honest. I mean, St. Francis, he spoke with the animals.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think you could find a single reptile who would speak ill of St. Francis.
But I don't think he spoke directly to a lot of the gators. You see a lot of him talking to birds and woodland creatures. Not too many giant 1,000-pound reptiles.
Well, none that was written about.
Fair.
I would be surprised if he never once met a gator. I mean, they're everywhere, right?
Except in the ocean, where I think they become crocodiles. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, I never quote you, Horace. If I'm being honest.
I'm really nervous about this whole thing, Father. I just like to go on record as saying I think this is a horrendously bad idea. That being said, I wish you all the luck. This just seems like a bad idea, or like you didn't get the rest of the plan and the dream.
Well, Horace, if it makes you feel better, I will take a nap before I go meet with the gators. And if God has anything that he needs to tell me beforehand, I'll hear it.
Would you postpone it from that point on? If God's like, hey, like you should also have a gun, are you going to have time? Are you going to go straight from that? Or are you going to like postpone?
Well, granted, I do have a lot of guns. It's a hobby of mine. You could almost call me Saint Desert Eagle, but no. If God told me to pack heat, of course I would pack. I will bring the hammer down. I will go Old Testament on these gators if that is the Lord's will.
Okay, I'm just checking. So, like, if God was like, "Hey, you need a strap," you would strap up. Like, you'd be ready to roll out.
Hey, he's the boss man. If he tells me I got to ride, I'm gonna ride.
I mean, would you maybe consider taking one just in case? Even if God wasn't like, hey, like, you really got to take 30-06 with you. Like, would you just, like, take one just, out of caution?
Okay, maybe I would strap a cute little thing to my ankle. Just because I like the way it feels. But I won't use it. I won't need it. I think the wood, the oil, and the word of God, I think that's going to do it. I'm going to call you afterwards, and we're going to have a big laugh about it. It's going to be great.
I absolutely hope so. But I do feel a little bit better knowing that it's like, you have it if you need it, but you don't want to need it and not have it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's been a while. Just trying to get business running. Business isn't good. Business isn't good. I'll get rid of these gators.
What are the other religious leaders doing about these?
Well,
I mean, this seems like a real boon for the Snake Church. I'm assuming they like all reptiles, but like, what about the others?
Yeah, they're just as concerned as I am, and they're equally heartbroken to see what's happened to the Spanktuary, the orgy that has overrun our good church here. They've been very supportive. A lot of the dancers have gone to these various churches to work there and stay there, spend time there. They've even helped with the church's goings on with baptisms and whatnot. Sometimes you come out topless, because old habits die hard, and they've been very patient. But but hopefully they won't have to be there too long. If these gators were paying customers, we'd be doing really well. We'd be saving lives, saving souls, and serving up a few cocktails on the side. And that's cool. But they don't have money, Horace. They're not, and they're not interested in salvation either. So they're pretty useless.
Father, thank you so much for calling in tonight. I really hope you take a little something with you, even if it's just a little snub-nosed Saturday night special. I really think that is the play here. I think we're all going to be really worried about you and until we get that call where you're laughing. But great to talk to you.
It's good talking to you, my son. We will be speaking soon. Don't you worry about that.
All right.
Hey, I'll see you at the Spanktuary, okay? Speaking of Saturday night specials, we're going to have one this Saturday night.
All right. We'll be right back for more of your calls and opinions in just a few moments, but maybe grab something to take notes, because here comes the Fakahatchee community announcements. The Fakahatchee Ammunition Bank would like to remind you, if you need a little, take a little. And if you've got a lot, give a little. The 5-year Gator Frenzy is the perfect reminder of how easy it is for some of our town's lower income families to disappear without access to precious ammunition. And it doesn't take much of those vital bullets for them to hold their ground. Even as little as a small handful of 9mm cartridges could make a real difference in their life and allow them to continue to be valuable members of our community. We'll be dropping off bags on doorstops this Saturday morning. Feel free to put whatever ammunition you can spare into those bags, and our volunteers will come by to pick them up. It couldn't be easier to help our brothers and sisters in need. Talk It Out with Your Rock Out encourages you to grab your favorite rock, even if it's igneous, and bring it to the park this Thursday at 5 p.m. to learn more about it from a real geologist who almost never gets to talk about this stuff outside of work, and certainly not at parties when her husband scolds her for boring people. Learn your rock's secret history, its exciting creation, and why Derek is full of shit. People love hearing about rocks. Just wait and see how many people show up, Derek. If you're coming to Turtle Dick Golf Course, please be coming to play golf and not to catch a sight of the Fakahatchee Lobsterman. We've heard the rumor, and no, it's not true. He was not here. He didn't shoot a hole-in-one. How would he even hold a club with lobster hands? It's ridiculous, and no one here has seen it. What we have seen is 18 glorious holes that will challenge an experienced player with fast greens, long drives, and slick balls. Anyone not here to play around will be kindly asked to leave. All right, that's your Fakahatchee community announcements. Lots of things to keep in mind there. I do love the outreach that the Fakahatchee Ammunition Bank does. That's obviously really important work, and I do hope you will donate whatever unused ammunition you have. A great way to pull out some of those old shotgun shells that you're not using, or go through your cabinets or your gun safes, and just help out. It's an easy way. Let's get right back to your calls and opinions right now. Let's go over here to line 1. Line 1, go ahead.
Hey, Horace. James Oldpepper here.
Hey, Mr. Oldpepper. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I've been better. Thanks for asking. I was trapped in my bathroom by one of the gators for 15 hours yesterday.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, he thought it was going to be like an okay thing because I thought I had left my book in there from when I did my toileting, but I had misplaced it. Anyway, somewhere around hour 12, I started looking at the grout, like really looking at it, and I'm thinking, well, I could use a bit of a scrub-a-dub, and cleaner was right under the sink, so I start scrubbing, and next thing I know, I wake up, and I don't have any idea what time it is. Apparently, the grout cleaner is supposed to be used in a well-ventilated area, and in my head, I'm like, oh, now you tell me. And I guess at some point, the gator wandered off to do its business somewhere else, so I was free, but I had a real bad headache.
Oh, that's too bad.
I didn't finish the grout either.
Oh.
So, Horace, listen up. All these gators, right? It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but apparently it's on a kind of yearly cycle, and so every 5 years these guys pop up.
Oh, yeah. I know what science is saying, but how do we know this isn't, tied to the gator farms? Huh, Horace?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Hey, we've got 2 of them now, 2 gator farms. Maybe that's, too many.
What are you saying?
Maybe something that duck guy is doing is making this happen.
So you're saying Duck Winters caused this?
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying we've got a gator man in town, and suddenly the town is full of gators, man. Okay, I guess I was saying something.
But connecting random dots doesn't necessarily make a picture. It might just make a mess.
I don't know. I'm just connecting dots here. Maybe there's a picture at the end if we connect them up, and that picture is an alligator with its dork hanging out as it sits on top of a police car.
But connecting random dots doesn't necessarily make a picture. It might just make a mess.
Horace. No, Horace. I know what you're going to say.
But
every time something happens in town, we send a deputy over to Duck Winters Gators. But
just stop for...
frankly, I, as a voter, always feel a bit better knowing there's a deputy there. I don't trust the guy. It's too many gators for one person.
But he runs a gator farm.
Yeah, run it with 1 gator, maybe 2 tops.
That's not many gators.
How many gators do I need to see if I've seen 2? I've seen them all, especially if one's really big and one's really small. My mind can kind of, fill in the gaps between all that. I don't need to see every gator in every size.
Yeah, but it's not just about seeing them. And frankly, can we agree here that the gators are Duck's product, so to speak?
Fine, sure.
Then would he want his product all over town?
No, probably not.
Well, see,
neither do oil pumpers with a big leak in the Gulf or whatever. They don't want their oil out there, but their oil is still out there.
Well, I don't think this is a gator spill.
No, you're not going to change my mind, Horace. I think it's his fault. Just send a deputy. That's all I'm asking. Maybe leave one there permanently. Maybe shut the farms down. Maybe feed Duck to his own gators. I don't know.
I don't think that'll happen.
But maybe it should, Horace. Maybe it should. Well, I better get back to this grout and also clean up the blood on the tile from where I hit my head, I think. I can't decide if I hope this is my blood or not.
All right. Well, best of luck, and be careful out there.
All right. Well, keep it real.
If you haven't called yet to share your opinion or how these gators are just really, really screwing with your day, I want to hear you. I want to hear your call. Give me a call right now at 305-209-9686. That's the number that you would have to call to be on Night Drive and get your voice out over the airwaves and let your piece be heard by all the people here in Fakahatchee. And some of you can't make it to the phone tonight, maybe because there's some giant engorged gator napping between you and the phone. But maybe my dulcet tones have lured it into a fitful sort of sleep. Good boy, such a slick lizard. Oh, you're so scaly. Sleep. Oh, go to bed, sweet baby. You both feel safe, but you worry if you make any sort of move, you'll rouse the gator. Well, I've got your back right here. Unless there's a gator between you and the computer, in which case you'll just have to be alone with your thoughts. But there was no gator stopping these folks from emailing and tweeting at us. Like Victoria Sprout, who tweeted at Night Drive FM to say, "Hate to hear that about Steve. I always used to flash a little ankle his way as I passed to get him riled up like a factory worker in the 1800s. I certainly hope he's okay. Me too, Victoria. It was a completely selfish act on his part that ended up being selfless. I don't know if Alleyway Steve tweets, if he can tweet, but Victoria, actually, let's all use the Twitter hashtag "You can grab me by the ankle, you king," to let Alleyway Steve know that we're thinking about him, wherever he is out there. Chadish Bradsworth hit us up on Night Drive FM Insta with a gator who seems to be wearing some sort of shiny club wear. It's way too tight. I cannot imagine that gator is at all comfortable, but it is right tarted up and is clearly on the prowl. That is one slutty alligator. In the comment here, he says he threw his stepsister's dress on the gator while she was sleeping. I'm assuming he means the gator, but it's not entirely clear he's not robbing his stepsister while she's asleep. Either way, the end result seems to be a job well done. That gator gonna get it. Thanks very much, Shadish. Judith Hamburger also tweeted at us at Night Drive FM. Ooh, okay. This is thread 104 here. Horace, these gators are making me crazy. I've got a bunch of babies all over the linoleum here, and I cannot take a step without accidentally stepping on one and having it snap on me. Frankly, there's too many here to shoot. I think I might just need to get a hockey stick to slap shot them out of the house. I thought this was about gator mating, and these just look way too young to be doing the deed. Oh, thanks for tweeting at us, Judith. I would say if you're not working on your puck power, I think a shop broom works pretty well as well. I would just worry that a hockey stick might explode the babies with a strong slap shot, just making an absolutely terrible mess. This is great stuff. Thank you so much for your emails and tweets, but we're going to get back to your calls right after this.
You might know me as Alleyway Steve, purveyor of exotic delights and muncher of ankles. Well, the curtain, she doth set on my lady's curiosity, the leg. But time is running out as the leg is in its final days. See the leg that no amount of refrigeration could preserve. Don't be the only one in town who hasn't laid eyes upon its ethereal yet earthly beauty. Literally, this thing is getting pretty tricky to deal with from a stink perspective. But if you book now, I'll throw in clothespins for your nose to banish its vapors from your smell box. The leg has been called a grim testament to the fleeting beauty of human existence by William T. Hesterhoffen of the Waxahachie Gazette, and some tourists from Kentucky were pretty impressed it was a real leg after I let them touch it. No guarantees if you come though. We're in our final weeks, so if you miss the leg, it can only be your fault.
I'm told the leg has been closed the last couple days. It's currently unclear if this is because of leg-related issues or the disappearance of Alleyway Steve. It feels a little weird to call it a disappearance, like he was kidnapped or something, but I haven't seen him. So maybe just call and check to see if it's open before you just show up randomly. Let's get back to more of your calls right now. Let's go over here to line 4. Go ahead, line 4.
Hey, Horace, it's Duck Winters.
Hey, Duck, how are you?
Well, not great, Horace. Honestly, not great at all. There's a bunch of gators running around.
Yeah, well, you telling me the whole town is overrun.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. Okay, I'm telling everybody. I mean, this has been terrible for the Gator Farm.
I mean, how so? Like, you guys have a lot of gators. It just kind of seems like having more gators wouldn't really hurt. It seems like everyone would be prepared for this.
Oh yeah, just gators everywhere. Gators. This is why you don't run a Gator Farm and you run a radio show. Okay, there's gators everywhere. You know, you don't buy the milk when the cow's giving it away for free. People want to see a gator show. They just open up their goddamn eyes and they take a look at all the gators. Okay, I mean, there are gators going everywhere, and they're doing things, Horace. They're doing a lot of things. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think it's fair to say these gators are very, very horny.
You can't have an 8-year-old go outside with his eyes open unless he wants to grow up real quick.
Right. An awful lot of explaining to do if your
Because
children are
listen,
looking at.
I work at a gator farm. I see gator penises all the time, and let me tell you, they're still there when I close my eyes. Okay, they are etched into memories, and they are just running around willy-nilly. It's like spring break down here.
Wait, you talk about this hurting your business. Have guests to the gator farms dropped off in attendance?
What guests? I don't have guests. Nobody's making a reservation at the gator farm when you can just walk outside and see a show, okay? I mean, why come down to the gator farm and pay for family fun, entertainment, when you have gator porno outside your front door?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really make sense to spend the money.
You know how many nipples gators have? I mean, they go to town on each other, and then they go downtown on each other. I mean, they are just running tour groups around each other's bodies. I mean, I'm not saying it's not entertaining. I mean, that's partially why I have a gator farm. It's for the free entertainment, to be honest. But it's just really competing with my business model.
I mean, do you at least get to, like, scoop up some free gators at less than market price, or?
Oh, you think I'm just going to scoop up some gators and put them in the gator farm? I mean, that's actually, God damn, Horace, you should run a gator farm. That's a real good idea. I mean, I didn't really think of it like that. I was thinking it was taken away from my business, but you're looking at this as an opportunity. I could just take a rake and just rake them on in.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine that you could, like, take a shop broom and push them on the other side of the fence. I don't know. I'm not the gator guy here.
You got a gator rake?
I don't. Is that a brand, or is it like a specific sort of like kind of rake?
I was thinking it'd be more like a rake that's specifically designed for gators. I mean, to be honest, I don't think they make it, but I was just thinking, put it out there into the world and see if it comes back.
Well, hey, that might be a lucrative opportunity for you to.
Yeah, I've been getting into energy, Horace. I've really been getting into crystals and, just kind of that Hollywood woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo kind of thing, and just kind of putting things out there and hoping they come back. Because I did. I had some gators up on my vision board, and look at what happened.
Right. Do you think this is because of your vision board, or do you have any sort of speculation on what kind of causes this 5-year cycle of gators?
I mean, I hope my vision board has something to do with it, because the other thing on my vision board is to be a contestant on Wheel of Fortune, because I think I could really clean up, because I always play. And I get it before the other people on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have a real shot of being on the show and making some real good money.
Well, I didn't know you were a wheel watcher.
It's like one of those things. It's one of those biometrics I use to judge a person. If they watch Wheel of Fortune, I'm like, good people. And if they don't, then I'm just like, no, hard pass. I always, at the end, when you could choose your own letters, I always choose Gator, because one of these days, the puzzle's going to be Gator, and I'm going to be made in the shade.
Yeah, it'll be like Burt Reynolds' movie, and you'll be like Gator, and you'll be in.
Yeah, that played at my wedding. I love Gator.
Well, Doug, let me ask a question. I know some of the town is maybe looking for a scapegoat or some sort of reason. We've had some calls that have talked about putting a deputy or at least some of the trailblazers back out at your farm. Is that an issue for you? Do you feel...
What? Everybody looking for a scapegator? I mean, what are they going to do? The gators aren't at the farm. The gators are in the community. Quite frankly, I think they should have deputies in downtown where there is the largest concentration of gator semen, because that stuff is slippery, okay? And when somebody slips on a public sidewalk, they're going to be coming at the city, okay? And the city's going to have to pay them out. And right now, it's like an ice skating rink down there. You got to wear shoes with traction. Otherwise, you are going to sprain your ankle in some semen. That's a fact.
Is that I didn't realize it was so slippery.
Horace, I saw a guy cross-country skiing the other day, okay? And it's never snowed here. So you better be picking up what I'm putting down, because he was just cruising through the jizz.
Oof.
Y'all better change your windshield wiper blades, because they're going to get a workout.
Man, I think I'm probably going to get a big pair of Wellington boots, maybe.
I mean, you put a garbage bag around your kids, you could have them give them one of the weirdest slip and slides you ever thought of.
Oh, I would not take my kids outside during this. Absolutely not.
I mean, I guess it depends on how cool your kid is.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a pretty chill kid, I think.
I mean, we are just we're doing some damage, Horace. I mean, it's a real trauma factory out there now. I mean, even if I take a couple gators here and there, that ain't going to make a dent, all right? And I don't understand why people are mad at me. You know, they think, oh, gators, oh, blame the gator farm. You know, it's like, well, when there's a flood, you don't blame the water park, okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very fair point.
Yeah, and then, you know, the flood was partially caused by the water park, but I mean, you know, whatever. That's neither here nor there or anywhere.
Well, yeah. Can I, Duck, can I ask you a question real quick? And this is based more on your gator expertise, not so much as did you or did you not cause this?
Yeah, it was like, oh, I wish I could cause a gator pandemic, okay? Because if I could do that, I wouldn't be running a gator farm. I'd be running the world, okay? Just make gators come up, do my bidding, come all over everything, you know, give me $1 million, I'll make it happen again. I mean, I wish I could do all that.
Some sort of gator mancer, or the Gator King. Well, actually, speaking of Gator King, so somebody who called in earlier who was trapped in a phone booth, they're safe. But they said that they saw about 11 or 12 gators become tangled and essentially become like a rat king, but with gators. Is this something you've ever seen before?
My daddy told me about it. I never thought it was real. But you're telling me this guy saw a Gator King?
Well, it was a woman, but yeah, that is what she thinks she saw. It was a horrible tangled mess of gators go off into the swamp.
You know, I don't know what's more surprising, the fact that a Gator King could be real, or the fact that I just assumed it was a man who told you about the Gator King, not that it was be a woman. You know, I'm really learning a lot right now, Horace, about the toxic masculinity that just pervades all aspects of life. You know, I want to apologize to that woman and the imaginary man I assume that woman to be.
No, it's fair.
Listen, a Gator King, I've never seen one. I've only heard about it. And I would say I've read about it, but I don't read that good. So I try not really to focus on the reading. You know, that's why I like Wheel of Fortune, because it's like short and sweet. Types of houses, mansion. I got that, okay? But when it's like a whole book about a mansion, it's like, okay, I don't have all year, all right? You know what I mean? Gator King. Wow. And you know what's funny is that if it was a king gator, that would be one gator, and that would be the gator that rules all the other gators with an iron fist, like in that documentary Game of Thrones. But this is a Gator King, so there's a lot of different tales going on there. And that's just one of those things I love about words, is that they could just mean so much,
right?
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Like one time I put on shampoo on my shopping list, but I forgot to write the S. And so then I was at the store looking at my shopping list, and I was like, what? Shampoo? I don't want any shampoo. That's disgusting. Why'd I write that? I mean, that's just crazy, right? What letter? Shampoo, shampoo. What's going on?
Right. It's,
you know?
It is so easy for something to become something else. Just like how gators can sort of clomb together and make a Gator King.
I mean, they are terrifying beasts, okay? You know, like the only time you want a gator on you is when it's in the form of a boot. But, you know, when the gators are living and are on you, they could be a real nuisance because they bite.
Yeah.
Gator King is really effective at biting. I mean, you know, there's a lot of mouths going on right there. You know, but I got to tell you, I've heard about it. I've talked about it. And so far as I can surmise with the expertise of the experts that I expert with, it seems like it's also a kind of a massive sex thing. You know, it's kind of a big old like 70s cocaine-fueled orgy,
right,
where they're just tied together, but they're just rubbing on each other willy-nilly, just getting out that, what's the scientific word for it? Spunk. And that's just making them real slippery, where they're just kind of shooting around the downtown like a big old pinball, you know, bouncing around and, you know, getting the high gator boner score. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Are there any sort of precautions that people should take above and beyond?
Yeah, move.
That's fair.
Yeah, that'd be the best thing you do, but most people can't do that. So I'd say hunker down, close your eyes, and don't look at any of it. Because, you know, that's going to spoil the show for when you come on back to the Gator Farm. Yeah, it's real tough right now, to be honest, because, I mean, they're seeing so much better stuff than they're ever going to see at the Gator Farm. I mean, they're going to come to the Gator Farm, and they're going to be like, oh, this is definitely not as entertaining as last Wednesday.
Well, I mean, you sanitize it a little bit for the families down at the Gator Farm, I know, and this is very raw.
Well, I was going to do a Gator Farm After Dark show, but, you know, can't do that now. I mean, I've been taking a lot of video. I've been working a lot with this iMovie on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking of getting into filmmaking. Not a big deal, but I'm a man of many talents.
Right. Have you put that up on your board, your vision board?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on my vision board, and yeah, I'm hoping with my Wheel of Fortune winnings, when that happens, I can get some more equipment and hire some people, start like a Duck Winters, film production studio, something real classy. Just do a lot of gator porn, because I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing that.
Right.
And they say tell the stories, tell what you know, and if there's one thing I know, it's sex with gators. I mean, not me personally, but watching it, we all have we all have it, Horace. We all have it.
Yeah, obviously, like at the opening of the show, I talked about what very well could have been Alleyway Steve's final moments, where he bit a bull gator in the alley. What sort of hope should we hold out for here? Is he a goner? What do you think?
I mean, what's less than none? Okay, maybe like a little less than that. I mean, there's no way. I mean, he was in an alleyway. You know how he always liked to jump out and scare people? He probably did the same thing to a gator, and that's the last thing you ever saw. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing that happened, but I am, I hated walking down alleyways, because Alleyway Steve would always come out and try to bite me. So, I mean, I guess that's one of the silver linings, is that the city's a little bit cleaner, except for all the gator semen. That's going to take a while to get out, because that stains. That is like pomegranate juice.
Wait, so it stains white. Is that what you're saying?
That's going to look real streaky.
Do you have any advice for Mayor Mikey Dusoleil about maybe how to get these gators out of here a little faster, or anything of that note?
Well, I'd say, if we could just drive any advice for Mikey, fuck you. Okay, how about that?
It sounds like you're still a little sore about the mayor's race.
Yeah, because that's advice he can actually follow. Okay, you want me to clean it? You want the gators gone? You elect Duck Winters mayor. They'll be gone tomorrow, but I'm not going to do it unless I get to be mayor. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's a strong platform. It's a pity that everyone kind of forgets this happens every 5 years, and we're always surprised by it somehow. I don't know.
I know.
On that note, Duck, is there anything else you'd like to share before I let you go?
Yeah, if anybody has a shop broom, if you could drop that off down at the Gator Farm. Also, if anybody knows anybody who works for Wheel of Fortune, if you could give old Duck Winters a call, I'd be mucho gracias.
All right, Duck. We'll talk to you soon.
All right now.
All right, let's go over here to line 2.
Hi, Horace. This is Jimmy Easterton.
Hey, Jimmy. What's on your mind tonight?
And I just wanted to say that with all these horny alligators just doing it all over the place, there's been a lot of spurting going on.
Right. Slippery stuff.
And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but then I had an idea.
Oh, yeah?
It looked kind of like cream, so I put some in my coffee, and I tell you what, makes it taste just like chicken. Well, I'm going to go bottle it, but I want you to have the inside knowledge, Horace. Go ahead and try some of that in your coffee, but don't steal my idea.
Absolutely not. To both of them.
All right, have a good one now.
Well, as long as the one you're talking about is a good day and not a Gator Spunk Chicken Java, but you do you, Jimmy. Ooh, thanks for the call. All right, that is going to do it for us tonight, at least on the air. During the last break, my producer said one of the gators has gotten into the station and apparently is outside the studio door. So I think we're going to be here for at least a little bit longer until it decides to shuffle off. Hopefully, we'll be able to leave before Good Morning Sunbuns begins. But I do understand if we end up stuck here that you've got a great show tomorrow. Right, Tiffany?
Thanks, Horace. Tomorrow morning on Good Morning Sunbuns with Tiffany Bunzel, I'll find out if you can bake a stripper into a cake for a friend's bachelorette party without committing manslaughter. We'll explore the wide world of animal extinction betting. I'm shorting polar bears for huge gains. And we'll meet a 112-year-old resident of Tampa who can't hear any of the questions I'm yelling at her. That's all coming up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. on Good Morning Sunbuns.
That sounds like a real heck of a show you got going on there tomorrow morning. Well, as always, it has been a privilege to be here with you this evening. If you enjoyed the show, you can rate or review the show, which helps other people find it. But not nearly as much as taking Weed Killer to a high school football field to write out Listen to Night Drive in 10-foot tall letters, which, let's be honest, can also double as the perfect senior prank. You can reach the show on Twitter at NightDriveFM, on Instagram at NightDriveFM Insta, or on Reddit at r/NightDriveFM. As always, there's an open invitation to join the Discord. You just have to reach out and ask for an invite. A lot of friendly people in there. They're just waiting to get to know you. What does that sound like, an ad for hot singles? I don't know. I apologize. I don't know if there are hot singles in there or not. We haven't done any sort of poll. If you really love the show, why not become one of our patrons and support the show at patreon.com/nightdrive. We use that money for hosting for the podcast, bandwidth for the fake websites, sound gear, etc. If you don't want to, just know that that's fine. Also, I'm not going to show up at your house and try to beat it out of you. That is a terrifying prospect for both of us because I am not very strong. Want to get that Night Drive look? NightDriveMerch.com will take you to storefronts where you can get shirts and stickers and the Season 1 Night Drive poster. When does Season 1 end? I have zero idea, but we'll both know when it happens. Want to get a free poster? Check out a contest we're doing for the best Fakahatchee Mayor's Day Parade theme. The rules are over on Patreon at patreon.com/nightdrive. And then you can just send me your theme however, through the social nets, any of the other ways to get a hold of the show. And I'll post it up there for the community to vote on, as Patreon's being jerks about who can comment. But the winner will get a positively eye-melting poster, which is worth like $1 bazillion or something. Just please don't get it appraised. Night Drive is produced by Michael Truly and is hosted by a man who's seen the grass on the other side, and it's not so much greener as better fertilized and a bit more lush, Horace Wexler. The callers were ably played with a rat-a-tat-tat of a carpet-bagging Poughkeepsie hustler by Casey Redmon, Ronald Babcock, and KSantos. I'd also like to thank our lightning callers, Nathan Greenaway, Drew Inns, and Sean Considine. Also, a very special thank you to our musical guest, Chess Boss, for not kicking any trash bins so hard they explode. So it's 5 o'clock, and until Tiffany takes over at 5 o'clock, here's 4.5 hours of government-mandated buzzing I'm required to... No, you know what? I'm not going to air it. I'm not going to air the buzzing. No buzz. I'm Horace Wexler. Keep night driving.